All right. If you follow me on Instagram, I did a story about this book today, the day this is posted. And then I did a post on my Instagram page at Bliss in the House, just a little peek. So this is the long version. I'm going to do a whole protocol on myself so that you can see how it works. You can get this book. It's amazing. It does suggest you use kinesiology to muscle test, and I may do that, but you also might just practice tuning in and listening to what your innate knowing says. And I've just kind of gotten the habit of muscle testing because for me it's super fast, but I could learn to cut that out too. Not that innate knowing doesn't come, but as far as this kind of work. Okay, so, and this is her second book. First one is DNA Demystified, and she talks about how we program the DNA through our thought and through our word. And so she and a team of people, kind of just give a little background, basically did like a think tank for, I think it was like a decade, where they were going and they were figuring out how to talk to the body, how to talk to the quantum field. What is the process? One of them was like a doctor, one of them, they were just different professionals in their fields. A psychologist, I think, and I have to look again. But anyway, they came up with this protocol of how to speak most effectively to the DNA to affect change, and like the waterfall effect that needs to have on the rest of the body. Like, I'm installing this program into the master cell of the pineal gland, and from that it's going into my brain, my nervous system, to the peptides, to the cells, to the space in between cells, to the DNA, to the chakras, to the etheric bodies, like making this kind of dot to dot within yourself. And she has about 20 some odd programs, protocols in that first book that are basically about just making sure your DNA is plugged in, making sure it's working, making sure it's connected to your chakras, that you understand you actually have a minimum 13, and they all have, allies that they're working with in this field. Do we have any health issues that we need to reprogram? Is there a vector or a faulty program running in a gene? These are basic first protocols that should be followed, and all the way to, can I live at 0 point? Can I access a new health code? That's in the first book. So now the second book is getting into more quantum field stuff. And this stuff I love. This is stuff my dad and I used to chit chat about when I was little, is the quantum field, and is this real, and how can we affect things in a quantum way outside of linearity, right? So this book I love because it really dives into the quantum, right? That all possibilities are existing. It's a matter of accessing that point in the field, right? So learning how to reprogram our thoughts and our word, and even the way our physicality is working, so that we can reach a new outcome, right? So the first protocol in this book is making a new quantum decision. And I described this in my Instagram post, but just in summation, finding a point where you believe a pattern began for you. So if you're rigid and you're thinking now, there was a point in your past that you were not rigid, and then something made you be inflexible, or you decided to be rigid and not flow with the change. So that point creates like basically a ripple effect for your entire life, and it becomes kind of like a holographic projection of the reality you're now living from. Right, and there's like movies out about this. I think Sliding Doors, where it shows if she'd made different decisions, that this whole trajectory changes, right? So there are things in our past, if you think of time still linearly, there are things that occurred on this journey that set us off into a quantum field, if you will. And I'm just going to be really basic with the terms here. So if you're going to fact check me or be a scientist, that's great. Leave your comments. I love it. But I'm just going to be really soft about it, because I basically just want to get into the protocol so that you can see how it works. And so the first part of every protocol is I command to be at 0 point frequency, even if I don't know how. So the point of that is getting you into the field where that's the point of healing, right? That's what things like Ormus bring you to, as a point of 0 point frequency where from healing can emanate or a new choice can emanate. So because we don't get in there and it's like I'm just commanding. I'm in the command center. I'm speaking the command to the rest of the body as a conscious I am. And if you need to get into that state ahead of time, okay, just where you can feel that you can say, I choose to be at 0 point frequency. And that even if I don't know how, is placating that doubting mind, right? Okay, so the second part is identify the problem. Okay, look at the initial decision and its consequences in the present, because these consequences indicate previous choice. Okay, so you're like, what in my life right now is not working or isn't what I have imagined for myself, maybe as a child, right? And I'm going to work with this concept of being seen, since there's a lot of people that have been kind of working behind the scenes in whatever their field is, and they still feel that they're not being seen. And so I'm going to take that, because that's something I'm working with too, and trace it back, because as a child, I always felt seen. In fact, I remember being a very loud, expressive, playful child that like everybody saw. So if I point at like at what point did that shift for me? And I can very easily say that shifted for me when I moved as a 14-year-old from the place I was seen and felt the most expressive into a completely new environment. And I can even feel the energy coming up for me still around that, of abruptness or shock. It registers like as an early trauma, I guess, as a like a pain kind of center. And so I can roughly identify that time. So for you, you can also be identifying as I go through this at what thing you want to be shifting for yourself. And if it's similar to me, great, you can look back to your past too, but finding a starting point. Okay. And so I can say July 1988. Okay. So then to identify a new choice. So the choice I made at that point was to kind of go inward more, close down more, to retract. So the new quantum choice is to stay open to like the curiosities of life. So that's going to be my new quantum choice. And she says in her fourth step, identify the new choice and make sure to include at 0 point. So I choose to remain open at 0 point. Okay, so that's how you say this is relative to the new choice. And it's not actually that you're erasing the old choice, you're actually making them coexist. So you will have elements from your past coexisting with a new choice, right? So then you have to ask, is it appropriate for my evolution to install a new program to access this other quantum choice, this latent possibility, this other latent possibility that has not been previously chosen? Okay, and she even states this information will now coexist with the other one. So you can just ask yourself, is it appropriate for me to do this now? And I get, yes, you have to. Okay, so then if you get yes, great, we go forward. If you get no, you have to kind of do some more work still around that. And then the next question is, do I need to install this program or this quantum choice in a specific address in my physiology, in my biology, in my makeup? And since I've been doing this a long time, I always think yes. But I'm going to just muscle test. Do I need it in a specific address? And I'm getting this time no. So you might get yes or no. And if it's yes, you want to think in which chromosome, and it's 1 to 46. Unless you're like superhuman, you have a 47 or 48. But you can tune into, or if you know how to muscle test, you can muscle test which chromosome, and then which gene or genes, which can have up to 4 digits, right? Is it multiple? Is it all my genes? Is it a specific gene? Most that I've done for people end up being in one gene and one chromosome. So it's just, that's where the code is, okay? And do I need to determine the number of codons? And I'm basically getting it's all. Okay, so the next step, now we're asking, is this program already existing, or is this different quantum choice already existing in my original divine plan. And then you can muscle test, or you can just tune in, and I get yes. Can I reproduce it now? Yes. Do I need to make a bridge? And my body says sure. I don't know what yours says, but okay. So then we need to ask, are there any faulty programs or adverse themes in my resonant field, okay, or in my polarities that might try to interfere with this new quantum choice playing out? And you can tune in, and I feel yes, there are some. And once we identify them, yes or no, if it's yes, that just becomes part of the program we're installing. So now you don't have to go deeper than that. Then you ask, are there memories that are connected to the former choice, which equated to a program, that might interfere with the integration of this new quantum choice? Okay. And I do feel like there's lots of memories that will try to interfere, but we'll go ahead and just add those. For you, it might be yes or no. Then we ask ourselves, do I have access to the information from other possibilities, other choices I could have made that were not chosen? Do I have access to that information? And you just have to tune in on a quantum field in my spirit body. Yeah, I mean, there is access, I feel. You might feel there's a block there, or you might feel like it's open. Is there a resistance in me anywhere to a new decision that could prevent now both of these decisions hanging out together? So do I have resistance to this? I'm actually feeling like a lot of that resistance is moved for me. I maybe have had more in the past, so I'm feeling not really, and you can ask yourself. And then if you do, and maybe if there is a resistance, what percentage is it running? Is it like 100% resistance? Or no, it's about 5. I'm getting more like 5 to 7% resistance. So mine's significantly reduced from other times where I haven't been ready to do this. Okay, then ask self. Once you get the percentage, that's all going into the program. So that just means your consciousness is logging all this information that you're getting so that it can make this new choice accurately. It's like getting the coordinates, right? Okay, do I know that reality is a series of possible decisions? Just ask yourself, am I aware of that? Reality is a series of possible decisions? Sure, yes. Okay, and if you feel like, no, I'm not aware of that, then you have to ask, is there a reason preventing me from making other choices, right? Sometimes we feel locked in by our beliefs or the structure we've been growing up in, so we actually think, no, I don't have a lot of different choices I could make. But again, that might be some self-denial a little bit. Okay, so now we ask, I ask the soul, or my essence, my soul essence, can I adjust to quantum reality and go back to receive information from this other decision? Okay, for me, openness, remaining open at 0 point. Can I get the information from that point? And you tune in, and I feel like yes, almost like an excitement, right? And asking self, do I know time is non-linear? So in other words, that decision actually exists like right here, right now. So then you have to ask yourself, do I know time is non-linear? And we do know. Sometimes we don't live like we know, but we've heard that, right? Time is an illusion. Time does not exist, right? Okay, is the new decision being blocked by karmic stuff, karmic gook, or miasms, which is inherited ancestral wounds and stuff? Could be emotional or physical. So ask, is this new decision being blocked by any of that? And I've done quite a bit of work on myself around these things. I feel like there's maybe still a few bits of residue from that. And you might feel strongly yes, in which case there's still some karmic clearing to do, or there's still some ancestral healing to do. And at that point, you would pause the protocol, right? So these are all the things leading up to, can I make this new quantum choice? Okay, then asking, are there any transgenerational interferences that are blocking the new decision. This is like going up in your bloodline, right? And is there anything in your bloodline, anything in your ancestry, that tree of wisdom that in the runes is called Otella, that ancestral stream, is there anything in that stream that would want to interfere? I mean, this could be showing up like generational curses or, anything like that. I've done a lot of ancestral work myself. I know my family has too in their ways. And so I feel like, no, there isn't anything blocking the new decision for me. But if you do for you, then you want to fill into how many generations back does that go? And if you want to get into that, we can do that in a different time. Then we ask, is there an antigen that would block the new decision? So has your physicality produced something that acts like an antigen that would actually attack this new choice? Like, that's a question to ask the self. Okay, do I have any antigens that might want to attack? I feel like I've got that handled. The next one is the new decision at 0 point? So now you're bringing it into the here and now, and I'm feeling like yes. And can it exist like a magnetic charge to the old decision? So one's positive, one negative, right? Like the old decision is like, I have to close up, for me. Or for you, it might be, I chose fear, and now I choose trust. Can these things coexist as a magnetic charge? So they're actually like a fuel source now. So you just have to ask in your consciousness and get a yes. Is the magnetic charge of the old decision, do we need to put that into the genetic code? I'm getting no. And if you feel like yes, then she actually takes you to a different protocol to do that, which is in the previous book. Okay, so can you say yes to a new decision, to the information of a new decision? So feel into the thing you've chosen. Can I say yes to that information? I'm saying yes. Okay, so now the next question, this is question 21. Is there a nostalgia from a lost paradise where there was no need to make decisions and be responsible? Do we have some part of our spirit or our essence like longing for that time? And if so, do we need to dissolve that, or do we need to put it also as 0 point? So like, there's some place in my cells that remembers never having to make a choice. Like, and I long for that time, like that sort of an energy. Feel into for you. And some of us might, I don't feel that, but feel into yourself. And then you ask, number 22 is, are etheric bodies, the mental process, receptive sites of the cells, quantum elements, systems, or other elements, can all of these eliminate the stress that they're carrying now that was generated by the old choice? Okay, so now we're asking, can my etheric body release the stress from that old decision? Can my mental process, like my thoughts, let go of the stress generated by that choice? Okay, can all the receptor sites of all of my cells that were feeding that choice and perpetuating the cycle, can they also release the stress? I feel like my body's like, please, can we do it? The quantum elements, all your systems, circulatory, nervous system, all these systems, can they release the stress of the old choice? All elements in your body, earth, fire, water, air, can these all release the stress generated by the previous choice? Because if you're designed to open and you close, there's a stress on the system, right? If you put in any system in your house and it's designed to go one way and you turn it in the opposite direction, it's going to create stress and probably eventually break it, right? So even if you don't feel like you can completely say right now, yes, all the systems can release stress, even just getting the answers within yourself will let your consciousness compile this into this perfect protocol, right? In the new program that we are going to then speak and make the commands for, right? Okay, so can I affirm, this is the next one, it is normal to make a new decision in relation to a fact that I know happened, right? Can I affirm it's normal? So this is basically questioning your sanity. Like, do I really think this is possible? Can I go make a new choice, or is like the facts going to get me, right? Is that logical part of my mind going to be a tyrant and be like, you're crazy? So this is one we have to ask ourselves too. And this answer that you get, it doesn't matter. It's going to go into the program, so it's fine. Even if you're like, yeah, I think I'm crazy. But if it works, who cares, right? Okay, then asking, can my RNA, my messenger, part of my DNA, can it distribute to the cells the energy that's transmitted from the coexistence of both decisions in order to make new cellular memory? So I'm saying, can my RNA handle this job? Are you up to the task? Do I need to get new guys? Like, can you be the boss here and deliver this information that now contains both decisions? And it's going to give new cellular memory to every single cell and part of the body. So you're asking, can you handle that RNA? My RNA is like, sure, let's do it. Okay, and if yours says no, it's going to go in the program anyway. Can all systems that I have use this new energy? So now you're just seeking for openness in all my systems. Yes. Okay, can all systems regenerate themselves with the new cellular memory transmitted by the RNA? Can all the systems regenerate themselves? Why not? Okay. And again, if you want to check specific systems, if you're like, yeah, all my systems can regenerate themselves except my digestive system feels a little taxed, that can also be spoken or brought into your consciousness as part of the program, right? Can all my systems eliminate the frequency residues of the old decision alone? Frequency residues. It's like energetic garbage. Can my systems eliminate? Do I have a proper waste collection routine going on in my body for every level of me? And again, just bringing consciousness to it is really what helps shift it. Okay, is this new program, which is a new quantum choice, is it well grounded in both my physical and my etheric bodies? And that means like, am I really feeling it? Like, yes to this? Okay. And now, is it in relation to the new quantum decision? Am I blocked by any mental patterns where it seems impossible to make more than one choice at the same time? Okay. So do I have mental blocks? And you can simply acknowledge, yeah, I have mental blocks, and let yourself, deal with that in the protocol, in the program. You don't necessarily have to go into that. Okay. So then you ask yourself, can I tolerate the frequency of the new choice? So for me, if I'm going from, not feeling seen to being seen, that's a different frequency than hiding out and just making videos and hanging with my family, which has been lovely. And I have enjoyed a pristinely private life. And I'm not super wanting to give that up. So can I hold that decision in consort with being seen and having a more like visibility when I'm in the public, right? And those two things can coexist as much as we believe in them, and you can have two things coexisting too, right? If you became rigid and there is a strength to having very tight boundaries and you want to go back and bring flexibility in, you can have both, is what this is saying. You can hold both realities. If you made a choice and you've been single all this time and you could have made a choice to be married and you now want to make a new quantum choice that you're in partnership, you can still retain your autonomy and your soul sovereign love of aloneness in a relationship that's compatible, is what this is saying. You're choosing, can I tolerate the frequency of this new choice that is going to contain both things? Because let's be honest, you're not going to go back in a race all the time. That's going to find a way to integrate. And that integration is a new frequency, right? And this is a great time to be doing this. I'm recording this during high Leo season. So we have huge solar codes and activations going on astrologically that is helping us make new quantum decisions right now. So that's why I wanted to share this. And huge shout out. You should go get the book Kishori aired. She does some workshops, I think, still. But I just have been self-learning this stuff. I think she's amazing. This stuff is awesome. So we're almost done before the commands. We've got like 6 more. Okay, so now we're asking ourselves, am I making this choice from free will? Or is my reality based on a worldwide reality? Is this me like autonomously feeling like I need to make this new choice? Or is it influenced by the worldview? It's okay if it's yes or no. Is it influenced by my social reality? Maybe if you want to get out there and be more seen, you might feel like your social reality is influencing your decision. It's okay. There's a ripple effect. My domestic reality, okay, is your family influencing. My religious reality is your spiritual or religious belief influencing the projection of your life. It's fine. Professional reality, okay, is my quantum reality based on any of these? Is it based on my professional life? Is it based on my historical reality? Is it based on my cultural reality? So you can ask all these of yourself, get a yes or no. There was worldwide, social, domestic, religious, professional, historical, and cultural. So 7, and if there's another one you can think of, you can add that. Okay, the next question is, when making this new choice and having it coexist with the knowledge that I got from the old choice, right? Is it possible to restore the following positive magnetic charges into the cell? Okay, because anytime we have some regret and we wish we would have made a new choice, it's almost like we don't produce the following positive emotions as much. So now we're saying, can I bring back and restore hope? The hope that might have been lost. Can I restore confidence? Can I restore certainty? Can I restore conviction? Can I restore faith in myself? And can I restore positive and peaceful assertiveness? So you're just asking yourself, can I restore these charges? And can they coexist with this new choice, right? Even with the not feeling those things. So you're asking yourself that, okay? And now say to yourself, is this new quantum decision sealed? Has it been sealed? Is it perfectly sealed? So now I've locked it in, right? Okay, now can I make a new decision and use the information from this new choice to implement the decisions in the current reality? And you just have to answer that for yourself. Am I under the influence of anyone else's decisions? So just assessing your field, assessing your thought processes. It's okay if it's yes or no. You might think, how old was I when I first became under the influence of someone else's decisions? And just acknowledging that, okay? Now, before installing this complete program into every part of the body, which is next, you want to ask, is there anything else that wants to be added? Like your body's like, okay, we're doing an upgrade, we're installing this new quantum choice. Do you want to slip anything else in here? Like, are your dreams wacky, or do you have digestive problems, or just like the main things that are inflamed? I would say, like, just intuitively, my neck, there's been a kink in my neck. So I would say that. I would say a restoration of my dreams. She does have appendixes in the back, so I'm just going to check what my body would say so you can see how I do that. So I go back and say, are there any other elements that want to be added to this program before installation? My body says yes. This is my yes. So is it 1 thing, 2 things, or 3 things? I'm getting 3. Is the first one emotional, mental, or spiritual? So is it an interference, a chakra, past life, astrology, other bodies, out-of-body, dreams? Okay, so my body is confirming dreams. Second thing is emotional, mental, spiritual, allergy, infection, virus, flu. Okay, there's a bacteria of some kind that wants to be dealt with. Okay, and the third thing is emotional, mental, spiritual, allergy, infection, periodical metabolism. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My blood sugar. Probably need to ease off your mate. So balancing out of my blood sugar. Okay, anything else? So there's a bunch of elements in the back that can be added to the program. If you want to do this with me or you get it yourself, you can just intuitively look down. Okay, so now we're ready for install. So this is how it goes. And you can, if you've gotten this far with me, you can repeat after me. It says, I command this new program, this new quantum decision, be installed in the nucleus of the master cell of the pineal gland, you can think of it, in all lives and all dimensions. I command that from the pineal gland, and you can visualize this program reach all my endocrine glands, which are located along the chakras, the brain, nervous system, peptides, every cell, intra and extracellular fluid, the interstitial void, atoms and quantum elements, all helixes, all chakras, etheric bodies to the soul. This becomes a soul choice. I command the RNA to support and reconnect itself to this new quantum choice. I command the codons to return to the order of the perfect original program, even if there has been inversion of codes. I command the speed of the photons and the structure of the DNA spiral to adjust themselves accordingly. And I might be throwing it a couple words here. I command the connection within the colossus matter of the brain, which is here, to be restored, so you can get this connection according to the original divine plan. Full brain access. I command perfect integrity of telomere and telomere. I command any residues from old programs to be eliminated through the appropriate systems. Sorry. And then you say, I command this new quantum choice be perfectly sealed. I command the Merkaba, which is your light body, be perfectly sealed. I command no radiation affect DNA or RNA. And I always add, except in the case it supports my evolution, like a smoky quartz. That's just my line. I command this new program be installed completely, this new quantum choice be installed completely until further notice in the brain stem here and now, and then I always tap the brain stem. I command this reprogramming be perfectly tolerated and integrated, because it is a reprogramming, it's a new choice, right? And that this occur at 0 point. Okay, this is an essential point, she says. She makes it all capital letters. I command the power. See, sometimes I'm like this. I command the power, the harmony, and the purity of this new program or new quantum choice to be installed in the DNA and be perfectly activated. Okay, and then you ask yourself again, or you muscle test, do I need to add anything else here at the end for this to be affected, tolerated, or integrated? Do I need to? I get no, but if you do, you might be like, oh, something else is coming into my mind. I'm remembering my hips hurting or whatever it is that's going on for you. You can just think that now. We're adding that to the program, and this like slips it in right before the closing, okay? So the final commands are, I command this new program or this new quantum choice be tolerated and integrated according to the original divine plan in the frequency of love, even if my helixes have been deactivated in the past or unplugged from this idea. I'm not running this blueprint, okay? I command the regeneration be complete and sealed until further notice from, and you say your full name, Melissa Stasia Bliss. So that is it for the new quantum choice, okay? And I always feel like there's some integration time. So now your body has done all of that. I would sit in silence for a little bit now and just feel into that and just watch how the outpicturing of your life adjusts along the way. If you want to do more of that, you can pick up her book. It's amazing. If you want to do the work with me, I do muscle testing and just worked with it a lot. So I feel a little versed, or reach out to her. I just wanted to share that amazing work, and much love to you. Namaste.